everyone, and welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're going to be looking at the third installment of my indie game devlog series, and hopefully the third of many more indie devlogs to come for this project that I am working on. Now before we get into today's video, I want to give a massive thank you to everyone that is watching the indie game devlog series. It is one of the highest viewed and most watch time videos across my channel, and I really hope that you guys are still enjoying it. And if you have any suggestions at all on how I can improve these videos, make sure to go and leave them down in the comments below. I also want to thank everyone that is subscribed to the channel, because we've almost hit 200 subscribers and I only just started this channel at the start of January. And I want to thank you guys so much for the support, and hopefully we'll be hitting that 200 mark really soon. Now in today's devlog we don't have too many things to look at, because recently I haven't had a lot of time to work on the game, as school and balancing work and a lot of other things have been catching up on me. But a few things that we do have to look at is the new day and night cycle, and I've also changed the HUD in the game a little bit, so it's looking a little bit more fresh and a little bit more clean. Another big thing that I tackled around yesterday is I was looking at my video settings and I was fixing them all so that when you close the game and launch the game, all the video settings are saved, so you don't have to constantly redo the settings every time you open and launch the game. Now without further ado, this intro has been way too long, so let's get straight into the content. Now the first thing I want to talk about is the day and night cycle that I most recently implemented into this version of the game before making this video. Now if you guys have watched my previous video, it is a tutorial in Game Maker 2 on how to implement a day and night cycle into your own game. I'm using the exact same tutorial that I put up on my channel in my game, and I thought that in the video I would speed up the day and night cycle process just to show you guys how it works when it transfers from day to night. Obviously, in the final version of the game, or a proper kind of test version, the day and night cycle isn't going to be this fast, because it would be a bit ridiculous to be able to go from day to night in around 10 to 15 seconds. Now I think a day and night cycle is really useful to have in a kind of game like mine, because it does have zombies and it also is a top-down shooter, so the night cycle is really easy to do, and I can also create a lot of good horror ambience and quite a bit of suspense when I turn it into night. I have kind of played with the ideas of maybe increasing the zombie aggro range or maybe their run speed at night time to make it a bit more challenging for the player, but I have seen this in a lot of other AAA games that have zombies in it, or other small indie games, so I don't want to follow along a generic route around nighttime. I think one kind of line that I want to aim for is that I want to make it really hard for the player to see, so that you want to try and pick up the flashlight earlier in the game, or you definitely want to always have it topped up with a battery or something that you can produce light with, or else you're barely going to be able to see the screen. But that's it for the day and night cycle, so let's move into the next update in the game. So a small update that I did in the game, but I want to give a notable mention to, is that when I go up to the chest now, you can see that the chest changes sprite, and it now shows the key that you have to press to open up the chest. Now I know this is a very minor change, but considering I don't have an actual control screen where you can change the controls to your own desire, I thought I would make it easier for the player to understand what they have to press to open up the chest. Now I do still plan down the line to change the chest system into maybe looting the back of a car trunk or looting something else, as I don't think I want chests in the final version of my game, but it would more be that you have to scavenge around to try and find resources or materials. Another major update that I did in this version, which will help with the final version of the game, is I went back into my video settings and did them properly so they all work and save when the player closes and launches the game. I was finding before when I was testing the game that the VSync and the anti-aliasing weren't working, and they kept resetting back to what they were before every time I'd relaunch the game. So I decided to make use of the INI file that I created in my game to basically save all the player levels and statistics to save the settings of the video settings. So as you can see on the screen, I'm just kind of playing around with the game and I keep launching it and opening it and closing it, but if you look in the video settings when I'm changing them, it is keeping track and saving them, so every time I open the game, it is going to be what the video settings are. I know this may not seem like a huge update to the game, but it's really going to help me down the line when I'm coding in new settings, as I already have this new fresh code that works perfectly and saves into the user config file. Some other small changes I made in this version of the game are that I fixed the cursor being too small on the main menu, so I basically set up a global variable to track where the cursor is, and if it is in the main menu, it sets the size to be a bit bigger, and if it is in the game, it sets it to be a bit smaller. I also improved the player collision masks, so when the zombie attacks you, it is more on the center of the sprite than when it was a bit further away before. I fixed a bug where you could run away from the consumables, so basically if you got a consumable moving towards you and then you sprinted, it could actually lose track of you and fly off the map. I also changed the HUD to make it look a bit cleaner so you can see that the health and stamina are in the bottom right of the game. I also fixed a weapon scrolling bug where you could accidentally skip over one of the weapons, so now it moves through them really smoothly. And the final thing I fixed was actually based off something new that I implemented, but I fixed a day and night cycle drawing bug. So basically when I went into the windowed mode, it would only draw the rectangle in a really small portion of the screen, but now it is fixed so it draws over the whole screen. And that concludes all the updates for this version of the game. I want to thank you guys again so much for getting the channel to close to 200 subscribers. And if you guys do want to go and test play my game, make sure to go and check out my Patreon down in the description. It only costs $1 to become a Patreon and be able to test build my game. And all the funds in my Patreon go straight towards the game. So without further ado guys, thank you so much for watching today's video and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.